All right, welcome back to The Devil in Detail, the Grendel Reread podcast. I'm Eli.
I'm Ben, and I think this is episode 34.
I think so. Yes, you
Hey,
did
great.
You did misname one the other day. That's all right. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're gonna do a double session recording chapters 3 and 4 of Behold the Devil.
That's right.
It's getting breezy. It's getting lean.
Oh,
the master is formed.
Yes, class is in session. Storytelling 101.
Ain't nothing more to say. Hit me with the intro and let's do this.
Let's get into it.
Two in the box, ready to go. Any fast, any slow. Yeah. Vivat Grendel.
It's like the devil is my best friend. Hunter rose with the pen to the fork end, or till time end. Like Orion, Jupiter my kin, bloodline private. Control the whole shit. The wolf won't beef, then we feast off the rip. Behold the devil in detail. Behold the devil in detail.
All right, welcome back. Another great intro by Manus and Laserdisc, aka Zach. Check out Zach at Laserdisc on Instagram. He's been putting out a bunch of samples. If anyone out there is a music producer and is in need of samples, check out Laserdisc.
Gets better every time.
Yeah.
So the kind of motif that we've explored with this Hunter Rose forgotten chapter is Hunter's unbelievable paranoia that he's being watched, that he isn't in total control, that he's not the master of his own destiny. The second issue that was last week's episode ends with him on the rooftop saying, "I am not being watched," as Argent stands mere feet behind him.
Yes.
And then we open up this one with a really thick bordered splash. Again, "I am not being watched." And then he does some very shadowy Darkwing Duck poetry. I am as spectral as the night wind. I am silent as the falling snow. No one can detect my presence unbidden. No one can track my movement. No, and then he's interrupted. Turn the page for the interruption.
The wolf. But it's so funny that he's just like, Argent, it's only you. Mm-hmm. It's only you, and that probably just infuriates Argent even more, like sending him into like a tailspin of rage.
There's so much like Joker, Batman, like violent romance in this dynamic, but it's it's totally, like it's much more one-sided than Batman Joker. It's
so antagonizing on Hunter. Oh my God.
Yeah. I love the like kind of mature Argent design. It's not too much different from Devil by the Deed, especially where the feet and stuff are concerned, but there's a lot of variation that we've seen from different people on Argent. And I think we said last week, like Matt's saying, this is how it's done, fellas and ladies.
This is it. And just the composition on this page too is amazing. Like the speed lines, like you can see that he's going off the side of the building a little bit, like startled as he was like perched on the ledge already.
Yeah, the canted angle. What's your favorite? What are your favorite highlights with the grays on this spread?
Oh my God! Well, Argent's knee, I like right there. That was my first. That was my knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
And man, that's so good. I think it's mostly Argent because Grendel's got some grays. The kind of jagged edge on his ankle there is cool, but man, the arm. Man,
the underarm, the fine white hairs, and then my favorite is the creepy wolf calf. That just like straight white line that separates the black from the gray.
Oh yeah,
it's so cool. Really. Yeah, we could. What's your favorite highlight? All right, let's turn the page.
Highlight? Yeah, right. All right, yeah. So they battle and they fall off, and like then we see Lucas. Lucas is there. He was creeping around the corner, and then all of a sudden, upon the rooftops, a cascade of demons.
Yeah, it's so cool that this saga is kind of populated by writers who can put their own slant on it. And here we've got this like Steve Ditko Spider-Man animation fight,
totally
with poetry, and we've got captions from Lucas's like internal, and then we've got his like handwritten notes flurried about.
So cool, so well done, and I mean this is master cartooning work here to have so many voices clearly like laid out in the narrative, like his notes, the way his inner thoughts are like typewriter, Hunter's inner thoughts are written. Then we have also Christine's, words, and really Argent doesn't get much narrative, but
Arjun is driven by hatred and violence.
right. And his appearance is enough narrative. Like we know
Right.
his story, his
Yeah.
battle, his
We're gonna get some great stuff between Lucas and Liz, where they kind of talk about who knows what about Argent and what the legend of Argent looks like outside of the context of Christine's book.
yeah.
To like, not to laymen, but to people that aren't like mythologizing it in hardcover bestsellers.
Yeah. Who knows Argent? I know Argent. Argent that's a Passover joke.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Man, great.
So we talked about the Tiger Burning Bright,
right.
famous poem by Alan Moore. I'm
Alan
just
Moore?
kidding. Yeah. What did we say? It was William Blake, the great William Blake, who
yes.
Alan Moore greatly admires.
Yes, as well as the source of the name of the Doors, the band The Doors.
Oh, there you go. And then I think there's like two more things on the spread. The first is like the symmetrical Lucas eyes in red at the bottom.
Yes.
He's super affected by this, and that close up does that really well.
And the black, white, and red motif, again, as always, works so well with Matt's narrative, with the Grendel character. It's just perfect.
Brennan talked about like the stark whites and like the frames of his glasses really really pop and do that. And then Lucas's last note in the bottom right corner is just like, we talk about that all the time.
Oh yeah, like how
constantly
psyched
laughing,
Hunter is.
enjoying. Yeah, he loves it. He's so horny for it.
He's like giggling with joy, probably. Hunter is like playing with a dog, like you would like when you're wrestling your dog, like having fun. Take heed, then, beast. On the next amazing spread.
Yeah, this one's crazy. I mean, this is very much like the rooftop battle from Red, White, and Black, where it's just like this flurry of stuff going on,
and even almost reminiscent of the sex scene from the last issue, where it's just kind of like little pieces of furious motion, and maybe even implying the fact that for Grendel, this is his sex scene. This is his
right. We've said it many times before. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. There's so many double page spreads in this book and in these issues, and a lot of them are sort of laid out very similarly, where you'll have a big image up top and then like a strip at the bottom, and then the right hand side will be something from Christine or something else.
Right.
This one is really interesting because that that semi splash quality, where like you could just have the center image be the splash, although it might be a little redundant from 2 splashes ago. And look, it's 3 double page spreads in a row.
Yet storytelling isn't lost. There's still like a lot of great storytelling coming through.
Yeah, they're what I like to call paneled double page spreads.
Right. It's even really 4 in a row if you're looking.
There's
because
another
then
one.
the next page is kind of
I mean,
it's
that one panel that bridges the 2.
Well, and the explosion kind of yeah.
On this one where he's quoting from Dante, which I'm not going to pretend I understand, what like about Dante's Inferno. I do like the gray speed lines. They're all straight
throughout,
except for the stack on the upper right hand corner of him slashing at Argent. They have
right to imply the movement of the fork. That's kind of like, oh jeez.
Yeah, it kind of comes in and out, especially on that last one. There's like 2 parallel lines that match the gray, and then ultra finesse,
dude. And also the detail here on Argent's like snarling teeth, his drooling vicious bite. It's insane.
Yeah, one thing that like we talk about all this stuff all the time, but like when Matt pulls back, it gets real like marionette-y, like the no necks, no wrists, and all that, and then like just strip things down to minimal geometry, and then when it gets nice and close, you can see like drool dripping off of teeth and stuff like that.
I guess I've been doing a little bit more like Toth research recently. There was a kayfabe vid, and I watched a documentary, Simplicity, I think it was called. Something on Toth, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Really cool. And I think I'm starting to see some of that influence in Matt's stuff more and more.
Yeah. What's the Toth quote? Just like draw the hell out of it and then get rid of everything you don't need and then draw the hell out of what remains, something to that
Something
effect.
like that. Yeah, like how simplicity was all in it for him.
The craziest close-up detail we didn't even talk is on the first page, and it's those tension lines in the mask. And it's like you can run your finger across it and feel the ripples of the.
Yeah.
Super cool.
What did you say? What did you say? Klaus Janson called him again, like the teeth or something. The
Oh,
carrots.
he said that there's. I'll have to get
those
the
are
book out.
unfilled
There's
carrots.
closed carrots, open carrots, and something else. But the Klaus Janson inking book there's so much. It just breaks things down in like, oh, that's how you think about that. I haven't read in 15 years. But
breaks it down by vegetables, inking through vegetable terms.
Yeah. Cool. This is the
All right.
fourth double page spread in a row. Oh my
I'm
God.
thinking, yeah. Oh man. And then Argent is sent. I mean, okay, this is another thing of like Hunter Grendel using Argent and using his rage like to his advantage, you know?
Yeah.
So he knocks him down into all these dudes, the guys, what are they? The Koreans.
I think that it's both. I think that there's Korean guys and Hunter guys. And Grendel. I think this is actually because if you look, there's like bald guys and like Italian looking guys.
Oh, true, yeah.
In this, but so I just want to make sure I understand. The Koreans are bringing in 300 kilos of heroin.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure and so maybe this was the like meeting. This was the meetup, the handoff, and so he heads down. He's slammed into the boxes, and then the battle continues. Amazing detail on this Argent right here too.
Yeah, the close up with the drool and the red eyes, looking great.
Possibly the single greatest Matt Argent drawing of all. Like epic right there. Yeah, sure. So far at least.
All right. Still, my men seem to think they could stand their ground against the wolf. That Big Apple bravado. It really is hard to find good help these days.
Yeah.
He just watches.
Yeah, he's just chilling up there watching like. And then the next page where we see kind of like, it's almost like Argent was lost to his, what's the god of death that's inside of him again?
Maslin?
Maslin. Yeah. He completely surrendered to his Maslin, his inner Maslin, furiously, almost like his berserker attack. He just went crazy. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he takes a breath and he's like, I'm in a sea of blood and bodies and everyone's dead. And
Lucas like, reflects that he'll never forget.
Oh my God. He is running for his life. His hat flies away. He doesn't even care. And then
Argent, our hero. So it's like the PR from the NYPD on Argent is that he's they put like a shiny coat on it. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's the severed hand in the upper right. It's just like,
oh my God, just chilling.
It couldn't be any worse. God. Yeah. Yeah, and the frame is very cool. The skull frame that like it looks like Matt took some white correction and just like scratched it out a little bit.
Yeah,
cool.
That's Maslin. That's the frame of Maslin.
That's the Maslin mindset.
Yeah. And then we go up to Hunter's apartment where he's just like having a post-coital glass of wine.
Yeah, another famous Hunter portrait.
Mm-hmm. And he's reflecting, but then he's also like. He's reflecting on, okay, so he's saying like that was a pleasant diversion. That was a nice like little battle with my buddy. Mm-hmm. But he's still like, I'm losing focus. I'm losing a little bit of like my focus because like what is stalking me? Something is stalking me.
Yeah. And the truth is that it's Lucas Ottoman that is actually stalking, but he's not talking about Lucas Ottoman.
No.
He's talking about something else.
Yeah, well, because in his mind, it couldn't just be something so simple as like a reporter. It couldn't just be like some dude.
Yeah, man. And then we turn the page, and it's a spread. I love scenes contained on spreads. It's a really just like easy way to kind of keep things moving and organized, and to feel the rhythm and of the pacing. Yeah, so we've got Lucas and Liz, and I guess he's already in her bed. He's already naked in her bed.
Yeah, because maybe he got some blood. Maybe he was just like, I feel disgusting. I feel dirty. Like he like stripped naked, like got in the shower, and then he got out of the shower and he was still like, oh my God. And so he just like got into bed and he's been chain smoking until she got home.
Yeah. We find out that her dad was a cop gunned down at 34. She's about that age. She's been on the force for 10 years. And she comes in to tell him about what he saw, and he says, I was there, I saw the whole thing. He's totally shell-shocked.
Yeah. And then we have this amazing 16 panel
Yeah.
page where they're talking about it. And like, and this is where you were saying, she's like, I've seen him twice. He's like, I actually saw Grendel. I saw Argent, like they were doing this shit. And she's like, I've seen him too. And it's like, then here's where they start talking about, they're arguing about Argent argue.
Yeah. How awful it is. And it's, how can the cops condone that? It's complicated. And she just justifies it. Extreme situations call for extreme solutions. The wolf is selective. Well, that's justification. He only confronts those who have it coming. I think of like those stories about like when the Punisher goes too far and he starts shooting jaywalkers and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Punishing simple crimes with death.
Yeah. This spread, there's 3 really nice devices on this spread. The first happens in the first tier. It's that the Lucas shots are static camera. And so panels 3 and 4, it's just like very Scott McCloud. Like the only contrast is he turns his head a little bit. And you'll also notice that like, Matt from panels 1 to 3, Matt's re-inking. In a jobber would not do that. Like in a
right. He redid the art.
In a Bendis book, they would just recycle the panel. And so, all right, on to the next one. And then the other device is that in the center, they kind of move through space.
Right.
And then they do that again in the last 2. Yeah, through the gutters. This is a great page.
Yeah.
I think, doesn't he also refer to Argent as the Wondrous Wolf on this page? Yeah, Argent, the Wondrous Wolf. He was a fucking lunatic. So like that, like there's real PR trying to like put a friendly face on Argent. It's almost like in Starship Troopers when like they're giving the little kids the guns and stamping on the bugs. Like it's almost satirical. Yeah.
Trying to sugarcoat this like weapon that they're using against crime, but trying to make it be like, oh, he's a cuddly character.
He tells her that these justifications are how every fascist state gets started. You sound like utopian idealists. This is a wonderful like foreshadowing of things to come in the saga, which is one of the great things about this story, is that it's able to kind of plant thematic seeds that will come much later, whether they're explicit or just motify.
Right. Grendel, whether it be Hunter or any version of Grendel, always has this interesting relationship with the cops, or there's always like a cop following like a Pellin Cross or what's the other guy?
Mankey. His name's Mankey.
Mankey.
That's not his name. The guy with the cyborg face.
Right. And he becomes the writer later on in those ones I like, the Lost Years.
Cool, man.
Yeah. All right. So then we move into some Christine Spar talking about Stacy. They're in Central Park, right where he crashed with the Shadow.
Oh shoot!
Right on the same bridge.
Oh damn! I didn't even realize that. Yeah, and this is a scene we've been here before in anthologies, and Matt kind of gets to say, "Well, we're used to this. We know they do this." Mm-hmm. And I think that in this scene, she's making up her own Brer Rabbit story.
Yeah, seems like it.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps to show that she does have this like active imagination, which kind of goes to show somewhat about how later on when she's catatonic, about how she still has these memories and playing these stories out in her head. That
she's a totally creative person. And I think we said way back that like the real challenge would have been for Hunter to quell his need for ultraviolence and groom her professionally into a creative powerhouse.
For sure.
Yeah,
if there was time. And, they could have probably created a lot further.
Yeah. He talks about how like this is supposed to be the one place where he doesn't have those feelings, where he can just be a normal person. And even here, he's looking over his shoulder with that new sinking paranoia.
Right. Suspicion returns, even here, even with her.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, my mind started to wander a little bit. Like, what if there was like, like a what if series, and it was like, what if Argent didn't kill Hunter? And like, what if they continued? And what if Stacy grew to become like a little Robin-esque character? And then I had this great like Dark Knight Returns, Batman and Robin type of like image of like Stacy as another Grendel, like kind of, or even like
or as the anti-Grendel, as Argent's
right,
Carrie
as
Kelly or
oh
something
my
like
God.
that.
Dang, that'd be so cool. We
Yeah.
should do a couple pages of that for the impending Grendel zine that we'll do.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, so
This
it's
is-
great.
This is great. Yeah.
Yeah, seemingly, it's like in winter, they're enjoying themselves. Come along, my dear young Aesop, time for some lunch.
Now he's back to brooding with Larry in
Yeah.
the Grendel den.
Trying to figure out their plans, trying to figure out what to do about this, all the heroin they lost.
Yeah, we're introduced to the heroin connect is a guy named Roger Venus.
Well, and also, Hunter's like, I fucked up. I wasn't paying attention. I got the Argent snuck up on me, and that fucked up the deal. So like, I want to blame Venus, but
it's on me.
It's my fault. Yeah, I fucked
Yeah,
up.
and that's gonna happen more.
Mm-hmm.
and it's with
Even
Larry.
in this issue.
Yeah. Very cool. So he
they're kind of like,
is this where he goes to Roger's place?
well, yeah, they're talking about it. Like, I think Larry's kind of like, you want me to reach out? And he's like, nah, I'm going to do this one myself. I'm going to go. Super cool inset red panel here of him like pulling on the cowl.
Yeah.
You call it a cowl? Last episode I was calling it a cowl. Or no, that was with Manus. But still, it's like the cowl is like Batman that shows the bottom of the face. And this would just be a full mask.
This is like a full face do-rag.
Yeah.
It like there must be a wire. It goes around it only in comics, you know what I mean? It like
right, yeah.
It's like the aquarium where like it works as a cartoon and then like you try to make it, there is a Grendel fan film. And
there is
it looks like a Grendel fan film. It doesn't look like this. It's cool, but it's it's not quite like this.
Mm-hmm.
Insurrection can never be tolerated. Indiscretion can never be indulged. I feel Larry's eyes on me as well. He knows something isn't right.
Right. He can sense it, but he would never say anything.
Sure. This is one of next is a Lucas. We got a few pages of Lucas, and it's interview tape number 39 that's been deleted.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Now the other ones weren't deleted, but I think there's a few with the cops that are, and this might be the first one.
Yeah, maybe it was like he didn't want to have the cops on record or something like that. And we don't really get a ton from this, but there is like one clue that he gets the two single white hairs that they found. They're like,
right. So last time we were looking at that and we said, is that a melted dolly clock? No, it was hairs coming off of, he allowed the mouse to pull off his mask. He let him do it. And when that happened, that in his arrogance, that was what this clue led to. Otherwise, that's the clue.
Yeah, he's been completely nothing. Like white hairs. Like, what are we looking for? Some geriatric badass, or maybe he said they're bone fucking white hairs. What do we got? Some sort of albino here?
Yeah, just like Elric. And bone white is exactly how Moorcock describes Elric's skin.
Oh wow!
Time after time. Now we're both in the. I'm about a third of the way through the Elric cycle. You told me you're starting it this weekend.
I'm going to start it. Yep, probably tomorrow.
It is. It's interesting.
Although I have this, I want to start even a little before that.
Oh yeah, is that the history or which book?
No, that's like the first novel, a reprint of the first Shadow novel.
Oh wow!
All right, so yeah. Then on the next page, we see the two white hairs. Raja has come to say hi. Hi, Matt. And
many white hairs. And Lucas kind of puts it together.
He's like thinking in his head. He's like thinking it all out.
Yep. Who's so literary? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, it's all right. What kind of crime lord moves with an agility that would put the best Olympic gymnast to shame? For that matter, what kind of crime lord hops around quoting Blake or Dante or Shelley? Sophisticated enough to wear the most fashionable and expensive colognes. That was from the other issue where he was like, it's all gross smelling except for the one like high quality cologne, and you're like, I tried.
Except for the Polo Sport, baby.
Okay, and still seems to have a demonstrably soft spot for children. Doesn't make any.
That was the head pat on the
Oh, for
maid's
the
son,
that's
Lionel,
right.
who was in the cart.
So we've
Doesn't
got
make
kind
any
of
sense.
a usual suspects end here,
Right.
and then he turns around and he's like, "Oh fuck me, the Chanticleer Tears, a stunning new novel from Hunter Rose."
No, I think that this is the first time that this novel is ever mentioned
so.
in the mythos. So that's another one. I
I
have yeah.
Did you look that up? Did you look up Chanticleer?
Well, it's like that's the name of the rooster in Rockadoodle. It's a classic rooster
It's
moniker of some
from
sort. I think.
Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. More
Oh, there you go.
specifically, he comes from the Nun's Priest Tale, a story within the Canterbury Tales.
Speaking of Canterbury Tales, I wanna pimp Dan Simmons's Hyperion,
Yeah.
which is structured based on the Canterbury Tales.
Oh, sweet.
This book is so good.
Awesome.
Good, great.
Yeah. Amazing issue right there. Dang, man.
Oh, that's it. That's the issue.
Yeah.
What an ending.
Yeah. Wow. He's like, bum, bum, bum. And he completely like drops his coffee, like
Right.
squeezes his coffee open, pulls a like Ray Ghostbusters, his cigarettes like dangling from his lips. It's right here, Ray. Oh, that's a Venkman thing.
I didn't even notice the coffee until this read through, and it's sort of like it reminded me of like when Harvey Kurtzman would do like the plots gag where like someone falls over on their feet like
Oh
whoop.
yeah, comes
It's
up.
like
Yeah.
it's like the equivalent, like the pulp equivalent of that. What an issue.
So great, man.
Yeah, man.
It really is like an amazing, detective tale. Like and why the GPU, the special SGU, Law and Order SGU, Special Grendel Unit. And yeah, there's so many clues being dropped, and we're really seeing everyone's work that they're doing. Like we're seeing Lucas's work, we're seeing what's her name's work, Liz, and
Even Larry, kind of the more very well written like dynamics of how their stuff works.
yeah. And we're seeing like a much more mature Matt going back and writing Hunter in a way that we hadn't seen before, and spending more time in the world than we really had before, straight by Matt.
Matt said that every time he came back to Hunter, he got more evil and not less cool, but less appealing.
Right. Yeah, he liked him less as a person. I can kind of see that. I'm starting to feel the same way, like with some of the stuff in this book.
For sure. Well, that was a tight 40-minute episode, if not less.
Yeah.
That bodes well for the next 3 years of for all you impatient people out there.
Yeah. I mean, because there's just so much packed in. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. Grendel, Behold the Devil, number 3 of 8.
We'll
see you next week.
Next week.
For episode 4, issue 4. All right. Vivat Grendel, and keep on Grendeling.